Kia ora, good evening. We begin tonight with developing news. White Island has erupted, injuring at least 20 people. Some are believed to be in a critical condition.
We understand about 50 people were on or around the island at the time of the eruption. A number of them are still unaccounted for. The situation is still evolving. Police and civil defence are holding a press conference shortly, and we'll bring you that live. First, though, we're joined by Sam Kelway in Whakatane. Sam, bring us up to date.
Well, Simon, there's a lot of people standing around here very quietly on their phones and just trying to assess the situation themselves. Earlier this afternoon, of course, it was a much different picture as a number of emergency services screamed to this area as they dealt with what had happened on White Island. Now, initially, we thought up to 100 people may have been on the island. That was then reduced to 50, and of course, there are still a number unaccounted for. 20 of them, we believe, are seriously injured. Behind us, you can see emergency services are still there, but all the boats have come in and helicopters have started to leave. But we were here, like I said, as those ambulances started taking the injured to hospital. The first casualties from a volcanic eruption being stretchered from White Island, a number clearly suffering burns.
Oh, no. Yeah, it just kept expanding and getting bigger, and it looked like a hell of an explosion went on.
White Island erupted this afternoon with dozens of people believed to be tourists on or around it.
Do keep in mind this is an evolving situation. Some of those at this stage are unaccounted for.
According to St John, the injured were initially assessed on the island before being ferried to Whakatane and taken to hospital.
Came here in the early 60s, yes. And we have seen White Island doing little eruptions, but nothing as big as this.
This image showing the volcano's crater rim was taken moments before it unleashed shortly after 2 p.m. You can see what appears to be people walking in the area, emergency services scrambling to the scene. Some choppers later stood down. St John saying up to 20 people on the island were in need of medical treatment, but One News understands that number may be higher.
Once we've assessed, once we know the numbers, the status, what we're dealing with, that's when we can then agree with the DHBs and liaise with them as to where those patients then go on to for treatment.
A number of those on the island were from the cruise ship Ovation of the Seas, which is currently berthed in Tauranga. A national warning was issued for a moderate volcanic eruption, saying it's hazardous in the immediate vicinity and people should be aware of the potential ashfall.
Explosions like this could be fatal for people if they're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
White Island lies just 50 kilometres off the east coast of the Bay of Plenty near Whakatane. It's advertised to tourists as New Zealand's most active volcano, a chance to see the powerful forces of Mother Nature close up and untamed. GNS describing the eruption as short-lived, saying it generated an ash plume to around 12,000 feet above the vent.
The volcano has been putting its hand up and sort of pointing to wanting to do something for several weeks.
The toll from today still to become clear.
Sam, what's planned to happen where you are right now?
Well, we understand Ovation of the Sea was due to actually depart Tauranga at about 6 o'clock, so as we went to air, whether that has, we are unsure. At the moment, a big fence has been erected just behind us here, stopping people from going any closer to the wharf. Why that has been set up, we are not sure. Obviously, a lot more will become a whole lot clearer at 6:30 when police do speak to us, and we'll hope to bring you that live as soon as it happens.
Thank you very much for that, Sam. Sam Kelway live from Whakatane, and we understand, as Sam mentioned, Police and Civil Defence will be holding a press conference at 6:30, and we'll aim to bring you that live.
In other news, it's hoped up to 1,000 stranded tourists might have a route out of a west coast town by the middle of the week.
Franz Josef is completely cut off, with slips at the weekend taking out large stretches of State Highway 6. Thomas Mead's flown in. He brings us the latest.
The rain finally cleared today, revealing the true extent of the damage. State Highway 6 torn in two in parts and buried in others under the weight of a deluge so mighty it surprised even the locals. Flying in for a first-hand view, Civil Defence Minister Peeni Henare.
We saw, I think, some stressed people, locals and tourists alike, people who are just wondering what are the next steps.
The slips have left hundreds of tourists stranded in Franz Josef. Only those with money for helicopter flights could leave. A public meeting today revealing the toll it's taking on those left behind.
The heaviest rain in my lifetime, I think.
Pretty horrific. It's a bit of a shame.
There's a lot that we can't do now, but we're trying to maybe finish the rest of our trip at least.
Some cash-strapped backpackers have been forced to sleep in their cars, while others are making the most of their stranding. Some will miss their flights out of the country.
I have got a few connecting flights onto Asia, so it does make those things difficult.
Others will have a tale to tell. Christchurch man James Sutton proposed to his girlfriend Kate Riley on the glacier during the storm, and they've been stuck here ever since.
Got down on one knee and, torrential downpour, but she still said yes, so I don't really mind.
Their plight might soon be over. If road workers make good progress, people should be able to leave through Fox under police escort later this week. But there are still tough days ahead for tourism operators. The main route through to Greymouth is likely to be closed for weeks. Despite the uncertainty, local officials are sure the town will recover.
Coasters are they're very resilient.
Proving yet again they can handle whatever Mother Nature throws at them.
And Thomas joins us now live from Franz Josef, and you've got an update for us, Thomas.
Well, the New Zealand Transport Agency has just told us within the last hour that they expect to be able to run manned convoys to the south of this township through Fox Glacier, where the damage is less severe, from Wednesday. So the way that will work is 2 hours will be set aside on Wednesday, Thursday and then Friday, where groups of vehicles will be supervised by either the police or the army and allowed to leave through those potentially dangerous roads. And then from Saturday, it should hopefully be open to all vehicles in daylight hours. The Prime Minister has also just wrapped her post-cabinet press conference and said that the army has been put on standby and that there may be potential air support from the army for that evacuation. All of this will be very welcome news to the tourists. While Franz Josef is, of course, a very beautiful place to be stranded, they've now been here for 3 days and they'll be looking to find some freedom.
Indeed they will. All right, thanks for the update, Thomas. We have an update for you now in our developing news. New pictures for you from a witness of the White Island eruption. Michael Shade was there just 20 minutes before it erupted at 2:11 p.m. He said he was waiting on his boat to head back to the mainland when he saw the ash and started filming these pictures. Michael told One News the boat ride home was indescribable.
There's relief for motorists on the other side of the divide in the South Island, with a vital north-south road link now re-established following the severe flooding. While State Highway 1 is still closed after flooding, contractors have cleared a way through on Route 72. Ali Pugh has more.
What's left of this mangled pylon shows the sheer power of the water that ripped through these fields. And 2 days on from the river's peak, surrounding paddocks aren't just flooded, but still flowing. Despite the conditions, and although many roads are still underwater, there's relief for those travelling by road. The inland route near Arundel reopening after crews spent the night fixing the bridge.
We thought we were going to be 5 hours, but we've been stuck here for 3 days.
Thousands of motorists queuing for hours to make the crossing.
We've been stuck for 2 days. We've got Dad stuck at home, so we've got to get home to see him. My dog's all alone.
With State Highway 1 still closed, the opening of this inland route takes immense pressure off the network, essentially reconnecting the top and bottom of the east coast of the South Island. Normally around 15,000 vehicles use that main state highway each day.
We cannot stress enough that we need people to not rush to complete their journey. We don't want this route compromised while State Highway 1 remains closed.
But many didn't wait. Timaru Airport this morning packed with anxious tourists desperate to make an early escape using private aircraft.
$7.50 per person from here to Christchurch. But if you've got to rearrange all your airfares and everything else, it's cheap.
It's an experience because we can catch the private plane.
Many abandoned their rental cars at the airport, one left with its motor running.
We saw the people drop it off yesterday morning. It's actually been running since 9 a.m. yesterday, and so 24 hours, the fuel light's now on, showing red, so it's about to stop at some stage.
Meanwhile, Lake Wanaka, which was predicted to inundate the tourist town, has started to recede.
We are reasonably happy that we've dodged the bullet.
Not the case for the Timaru district, though. Some farmers still having to relocate stock through deep waters, with no telling when things will be back to normal. Ali Pugh, One News.
St John is threatening to cut some of its ambulance services unless the